self-care. Number 5 is doing all the chores. All right? Now, this is a daily thing, and I want you to really think about this. This habit is killing your chances of self-care, right? If you're the kind of person that you do all the chores every day because you're like, well, if I don't do them, they won't get done. Okay, and that's your justification. I gotta take out the garbage because if I don't, we're gonna be living in a garbage heap. I've gotta take out the recycling because if we don't, there's gonna be plastic bottles on every surface of this house. Well, that justification, my friends, is killing your chances at self-care. And if you tell yourself, I'm the only one who can do it, or I like the way that I do it, right? If your husband can't load the dishwasher right because he shoves everything in there, the pans, the glasses, shit's stacked on top of it, so it's not actually getting the water up inside it to clean it out, and you say to yourself, well, I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to just do it myself, right? You're setting yourself up for failure with that habit, and more likely than not are not going to get any kind of self-care as a result. And here's the thing. If you're doing chores to feel like a good girl, like you've done what you're supposed to, like you're helping out the family, all that kind of stuff, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself and you're telling yourself that you, Cinderella, have to do it all and that nobody else can do it. And that is causing you to not take care of yourself. Look, let the dishes pile up. Shoot, let the trash flow over. Somebody eventually in your house is going to get sick of it and they're going to take care of it. But if you have constantly been the person to handle all the chores, well then, my friends, it's time for you to go on strike like you should. Say, time out. I'm not here for that anymore. I'm going to take an hour to myself to read, to go for a walk, to do some hula hooping, go roller skating, plan an afternoon to myself, go to the bookstore and tootle around for a while, or just sit and stare off into space, right? There's a theme going on with today's show, and it's clearly Chris just needs to stare off into space. That's the self-care that I need today, right? All right, so number 6, another thing you're doing to diminish your chances of getting self-care is guilt. You're letting guilt run the show. And you've got to stop allowing your guilt to prevent you from getting self-care, right? If you're feeling guilty that you're not a good enough mom, if you're feeling guilty that you didn't get enough done at work, if you're feeling guilty that the dog, like poor little Fido, hasn't had a walk in weeks, whatever it is, when you resort to guilt, I guarantee you that means you're not getting any kind of self-care because you're literally telling yourself, I didn't do something right, so I don't deserve. And that is horseshit. The truth is, my friends, I want you to hear me when I say this. You deserve self-care every day, no matter how much you do or don't do. This is a firm belief of the show, of everybody who's a part of the show, and of me especially, right? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a good girl. You don't have to do anything to deserve self-care. You don't have to have gotten all the chores done. You don't have to have helped all little Junior with his homework. You don't have to have walked Fido, done all the laundry, cooked a Martha Stewart miracle, and then you get some self-care. But that is the current mentality of most of our listeners. And I'm going to break through this microphone, bust through your earbud, and shake you by the collar and tell you no more. We are not that way anymore. We are all going to start operating from the place of, I get time for me. I get to do what I want to do. I am the priority in my life just because I'm here. Just because I exist. Just because I'm alive and I'm standing on the planet. I deserve self-care. Because you do. You deserve your time, your energy, your love. You deserve it no matter what. Number 7, you're agreeing to social events when you don't want to do it. So again, this kind of is tying into today's theme. If you're the kind of person that overbooks yourself with all the social things because you don't want to miss out, and so went to your birthday party last year, or so-and-so, came to the bar mitzvah that, your cousin's bar mitzvah, so now you've got to go to theirs, that kind of thing. If you're the kind of person that's just blanket agreeing to social activities because you think you gotta, you're less likely to actually get self-care because 1, you're demonstrating you can't set a boundary. 2, you're demonstrating that you think those people deserve more of your time and energy than you do. And 3, most importantly, you're teaching yourself that doesn't matter if I don't want to. We're doing it anyway because I'm supposed to, because I should, because there's some kind of justification or reason as to why I need to do a thing I don't want to do to make me look better, right? And if that is the motivation, I'll tell you right now, you're not getting any self-care done. You're absolutely not, you're not connected to yourself, because if you were, you would never allow that for yourself. When someone calls you up and says, hey, you want to go out Friday night, and it's Thursday, and you're tired, and you've had a really long week, and the idea of being around other human beings turns you the fuck off, and you just want to crawl under the covers and stare into the blank space, as clearly I need to, the answer's no. I don't want to go out Friday night. And the better you get at saying that, and the better you get at just doing what's best for you, regardless of whose feelings you're going to hurt along the way, the better you're going to be at saying yes to the things you really want to do. I've talked about that in an entire episode, about being able to be available to say hell yes when you want to do something versus, okay, I guess I'll go, and then really wishing you hadn't, because now you're way more tired than you were when you started. You're probably less some cash, whatever the thing is that you went out and did, and now your friend thinks you're just always available. Right? And it's probably the same friend that calls and bitches and complains about the same shit every month. So, look at your life, look at your choices. Number 8, you're diminishing your good qualities. All right? I cannot tell you, like my friends, let me just be 100% transparent. This is something that has taken me years of my life to undo. And that is that whole thing that a lot of us do where you follow up a compliment with like, yeah, but, or something like, well, I didn't do really anything that special, right? When you diminish your accomplishments or the compliments that you're getting, or you diminish the good things about you, like you're literally putting down yourself at the end of somebody putting you up, or even worser, you're incapable of tooting your own horn because you don't want to seem boastful or egotistical or something like that. Like, okay, let's just get to the point, right? The more you do that, 1, it looks like fake humility. Most people they're okay with a certain level of like, yeah, I'm the shit. I'm awesome. I'm really good at podcasting, or I'm really good at, roller skating or whatever it is. Most people have a pretty even keel where they don't go too far into ego land where I am the best podcaster that ever lived and everyone else is shit in comparison. Like, no, that is not where most of us live. Believe me, those people exist. Yes, we've all had to endure them, but that is not where most of us live. And certainly not those of us listening to this show called Self-Care is Sexy. If you're listening to this show, you're more likely than not, you're not an egomaniac. You're not the kind of person that's like, a narcissist who just is self-centered and they only care about themselves. You're probably a really decent person who has a hard time admitting that they are. And that is killing your chances of self-care. Because you have to admit and agree to the fact that you're a good fucking person. You just got to admit to it. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but I promise you this is going to change your life. If you can get past the uncomfortability of saying, you know what, I am good at this. I am a nice person. I did that thing and I did really well. And it's okay. And thank you. Like if you're not able to, agree with it when someone pays you that kind of compliment, fine. But just fake it and don't follow it up with the, well, yeah, but, and the diminishing talk that happens thereafter. Just say thank you and move about your day. Number 9, another way, a subtle way that you're killing your chances at self-care is that you're lying to yourself. You lying to yourself that you're gonna make time for yourself, and then you just don't. Now, this is huge. This is for my people out there who have been listening to the show for a while. All right. And you kind of get the idea. You understand that self-care is sexy. You understand it's a priority. You're maybe taking some of these ideas that I'm throwing out and you're like, yeah, you're shaking your head. You're like, yeah, totally got you, Chris. I do that. I shouldn't do that. Right? Like you're with me. You're on the bus. You're like, yes, I'm here. I'm going for it. But even if you intellectually believe everything I'm saying about how important it is to get self-care and how important it is to make you the priority and how being a good person has a lot to do with how well you take care of yourself. If you're like, yes, I totally get that, you're killing your chances of actually getting self-care when you lie to yourself and say that you're gonna and you don't. This is so important. Your habit brain doesn't care if like eventually someday maybe you're going to get some self-care in. Your habit brain and your daily life doesn't care that 6 months ago you took a 5-minute extra break and went for a walk, right? Your habit brain cares about what you did in the last, 20 minutes or so. And if you're not doing something on a daily basis that is self-care oriented, you are robbing your chances of flipping the switch of that habit brain and undoing all the lying that you've been doing to yourself. Because when you sit there and say, yeah, you know what? I need self-care. I haven't been taking care of myself. I've been people-pleasing for years. I've been doing everything everyone wants me to do, and I don't have a fucking moment to myself. Sign me up, Chris. How do I fix that? And my response is, stop lying to yourself. If you're not going to give yourself any self-care today, don't say that you are. But what you could do to really reverse those effects, like as fast as possible, is stop this recording right now and make a fucking plan and do some self-care. I don't care if you don't know what to do. I've mentioned about 50 different options today, number one of which being staring off into space. Which is just ironic that that's like the thing I keep using as an example. Like clearly I just need to, do that brain dump thing, maybe go on a float tank or something. But this is really important to identify for yourself. For realsies, I'm talking to you because I know this stuff because I've been experiencing it for years on accident because of this podcast and this project that landed in my lap and now has become a passion. So I'm trying to speak to you from that place to tell you, just stop lying to yourself. If you're not going to do self-care, don't tell yourself you are. But if you are, commit to it and make it a non-negotiable. Mama needs 2 hours to herself tomorrow, no matter what. Kid breaks and falls his leg, call auntie, have her take him to the ER. Like, I'm serious. You think I'm joking? I'm not. If you are at a chronic level of not taking care of yourself, no emergency in your life is more important than taking care of you. Because if you don't, you're going to be unavailable to take care of anyone else. Because you're going to be burned out. Because you're going to have a mental health crisis. Because you're going to be in a place where you can't manage it. So how's about we just do a little preemptive work so that you don't get to that place where you have a crisis and it can't be managed. If you tell yourself, I'm going to do some self-care. Chris fired me up. She got me motivated. I'm going to do it. All right, put it on the calendar and commit to it and do it. But don't say you're gonna if you're not. Last but not least, on my 10 ways that you're subtly killing your chances of getting self-care is you're setting daily unrealistic expectations, all right? Now, this is for my chronic perfectionists. This is for my hardcore workers out there. These are for my 9-to-5 ladies that are busting balls all day long. You are setting unrealistic expectations of what you can get done in a 24-hour period. Knock it off. All right? If you're working at a breakneck pace, if you are working like there's a gun to the back of your head and you have to get all of this shit done and you need to go, 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 red team, go, you are not helping yourself and you are certainly not getting any self-care. You are manufacturing pressure. And this is the quickest way to burn out, have a crisis, melt down, have shit hit the fan, and not be able to take care of it. So if you are setting daily expectations for yourself that are impossible to reach, that are unrealistic, that are so astronomically long, nobody with 10 arms could get it all done, then you are really in the red zone. You're in the danger zone, and I'm here to shake you up. I'm crawling through that microphone and through those earbuds and shaking you by the